Hey guys, it's me, 80s from today, guys. We're going to talk to you guys about the English Premier League. So we're going to be discussing a lot of topics regarding the English Premier League, and I just want to give you guys a quick little thing about this FA Cup thing. Tottenham Hotspur. This is just the most Tottenham thing to do. They lost to Middlesbrough. You got to respect Middlesbrough, man. They eliminated both Manchester United and Tottenham Hotspur. Are right now in the quarterfinals of the FA Cup. It's a very good achievement for them. And as for Tottenham, man, they should be ashamed of themselves. They're losing to a championship team. A team that is just not that great on paper. And it's going to be very difficult. Because I really do believe, I'm not bantering here, I'm making jokes. I really do believe that it's going to be very difficult for any of these teams to beat Middlesbrough. You saw what they did. They conceded only one goal in the last two games against Manchester United and Tottenham. I know it's Manchester United and Tottenham. I know both these teams are very, very much overhyped, and I know they tend to disappoint so often. But I wouldn't be surprised if, I don't particularly think they're going to win. I think the road's going to stop in the quarterfinals. But whichever team does face them, it's not going to be an easy win. It's going to be a very difficult win, and I think a lot of these teams, especially like Chelsea, Liverpool, West Ham, Southampton potentially, will struggle to beat Middlesbrough. It will not be easy by any means, and who knows, man? Maybe Middlesbrough might win this FA Cup, and if they do, that would be a great achievement indeed. So I really hope the best for them. Obviously, you guys know I like to root for the underdogs in these kind of competitions, and we'll see what happens, man. I just want to give you guys a quick word about that thing. So the main topic for today, we have a lot of different stuff to discuss, but the main topic today I want to discuss about is the title race in the English Premier League. That's really the main thing I want to discuss today, but let's just discuss the other two additional topics. So we have to discuss about Manchester United. Manchester United are right now, guys, in fifth place in the Premier League. Actually they're fourth right now, just barely hanging on. And for Manchester United, man, are they going to get top four this season? Are they going to get top four? Let's really look at their fixtures. Now, I already did a video about Manchester United, my thoughts on January, and yet again, we're having to have another discussion about this just because of how inconsistent they've been. And this is a team that has been really underwhelming recently. So you look at the next game they have. They got Manchester City and the Manchester Derby. Guys, I don't know if they can get anything. They might be able to get something because it is a derby after all. They better beat Tottenham. Then that Atletico Madrid game, obviously that's a Champions League. I'll give you guys my thoughts on the for coming days. Then they have the Liverpool game at Anfield. They're not getting anything from that game. And then this period of month is gonna be very interesting. They got Leicester City, Everton, Norwich, Arsenal, Brentford, Brighton, Chelsea, Crystal Palace. I'll be honest with you guys. I'll be completely honest with you guys. After April, the fixtures are very feasible. Like, yes, Leicester City is a pretty tough team, but let's be real, guys. Leicester City have been in free fall this season. They should beat Leicester City. Now, Everton on the road at Goodison Park. Everton have also been very bad this season. They're actually close to relegation battle. But they do have Frank Lampard, and maybe Everton could cause a surprise because Everton did pick up a draw in the reverse fixture. And so maybe this may not be as straightforward as I imagine it to be, but I still think United should win. And then Norwich at home, come on, that should be 3 points. That game at the Emirates for Manchester United is going to be very interesting because they don't have a very good record there. They don't have a very, very good record there. And I think that if they are to potentially get that top four, they need to get at least a draw in that game. Because if they allow Arsenal win, that's going to be very bad. Then they have Brentford coming up. That's a game that they should win. Brighton, that's a game that they should win on the road. The Chelsea game, that's very early to call. I don't know how Chelsea will approach that game. Maybe by then top four will be secured. And maybe Chelsea will still put a full-strength team to obviously stop Man United from getting top four potentially. And then they have Crystal Palace on the road, which could be very tricky indeed. So I'll be honest with you guys. Out of all these fixtures, let's forget the March month because the March month they're only getting like max odd. They're getting like a victory over Tottenham. That's about it. The rest of the games, I don't know. Leicester, like you look at the games, the tough games for Manchester United would be obviously Chelsea. I think will be difficult. Crystal Palace, I think could be difficult, and Arsenal. Those three games, in my opinion, are pretty difficult. Crystal Palace especially as one of their bogey teams. The rest of the games, they better win. Like those other games I didn't mention should be wins. And like I said, guys, I just think that for Manchester United, they will get top four. As for the other teams, let me just go ahead and give you guys a brief explanation why. Let's look at the four teams. There are four teams battling for our top four spot. Okay? West Ham. Let's talk about West Ham. For me, looking at West Ham's fixtures, I just think that for me, it's going to be very difficult. They have the Europa League to count in, and I think that they're going to go hard in the Europa League. And because of the way it's looking, how difficult the games are going to be with Liverpool coming up, Aston Villa, Tottenham, Everton, Brentford, Burnley. West Ham is just a team that drops too many points. Look at the game, for example, against Newcastle. I know Newcastle really strengthened, but still, Then they just about got a draw against Leicester City on the road. Then they won against Watford. But you look at this game in particular. How did they lose at home to Leeds? How do they lose to Southampton? These are the type of games that if West Ham wants to get top four, they need to stop dropping points in these kind of games. And they're only 2 points behind of United. And what's interesting? They actually have scored more goals than United. They've actually got the same defense as United. But here's the thing. I just think that for me, guys, it's going to be very difficult for West Ham to get top four. Very difficult indeed. And for me, the games that they simply have to win are that game against Villa, if they can get a win. If they can win against Spurs, that would be impressive. I believe they actually did in the reverse fixture at home. Then Everton, they better win that. They better win this game. They better win this game. That's a tough one to call. That's a tough one. They better win. So you can see how their fixtures are difficult, right? And I know they have been a good team this season. I'm not saying they've been bad. I just don't think they have the squad to compete. You look at the game, for example, the Europa League game, right? They have 3 days break. 3 days break. And let's just say, for argument's sake, they make it to the quarterfinals of the Europa League. Do they have the squad to have enough players to compete? Because I'll be honest with you guys, the players that are in their B team is not good enough. I just don't think the players in the reserves are as good as the first team, and I would imagine they would probably play the first team against Villa because Villa is still a decent team, guys. So, like I said, we'll see what happens for West Ham, but like I said, I really hope they get top four. Now, as for the other team, for me, my personal pick, okay, Tottenham, guys, they're not going to get top four. Let me make this clear. Tottenham ain't sniffing top four. And you don't know why? Because they're a topsy-turvy team. Look at what Tottenham been doing. They just lost to Middlesbrough, as we said. They won against Leeds. But then they lost to Burnley. They lost to Southampton at home. They lost to Wolves at home. Imagine they had won 3 of these games. They would be at 9 points, and they would actually be 51 points. They would have been in a great position. And even though they do have games in hand against United, it's still very difficult because we got to keep this in mind, guys. Tottenham, just because you have games in hand doesn't mean it's a guaranteed 3 points. It matters about which team you're playing against. And I just think that for Tottenham in particular, they're just too topsy-turvy. They're just too topsy-turvy. And with them being eliminated the FA Cup, they only have the league to focus on. And they're in theoretically speaking, they should be in the ideal position to get top four. Just because West Ham, they have the Europa League, Arsenal. Well, actually, Arsenal is actually out of the FA Cup, right, as well, I think, right? I think, yeah, they're also out of it, too, I forgot. So, maybe Arsenal could argue is a better position. But I still think that Spurs in a better position just because of how, how they have a better manager than Arsenal, in my opinion. And I think they have a better squad, in my opinion. But I just think that for me, it's going to be interesting to see how Spurs do this. Because like I said, guys, it's too topsy-turvy. This is a team that sometimes win, that sometimes draw. It's just not good enough. And like I said, if they are able to win games like Burnley and Southampton, I know Southampton's been good, but still, and Wolves at home, I don't know if they're really serious, As for the other teams like Wolves and Wolves for me is a long shot. I don't think Wolves have enough, guys. I know it's only 7 points, but it's going to still be very difficult for them to get top four, in my opinion. So Wolves is a very huge, right. I just think it's a very, very unlikely. Arsenal, let's discuss. I think for me, guys, if there was a season for Arsenal to get top four, it would be this season. And let me explain why. Look at the table, guys, right now. Arsenal are 45 points. They have three games in hand. Although 2 of which are against Chelsea and against Liverpool, which we know is very difficult, it's not straightforward. If they could get something from those games, it would be in a great position. Because, like I said, they're coming up. Next game they have is Watford. They better win that game. Leicester City at home. They won the reverse fixture. So you would hope they wouldn't win that. Okay, the Liverpool game, they're probably not going to win that. Villa on the road, they should win that. Crystal Palace on the road should be a win. Brighton should be a win. Southampton, maybe a draw. The Man United game, maybe a draw. West Ham, maybe a draw. Or maybe a victory, who knows. Leeds better be a win. Newcastle on the road could be a draw, and Everton. So, like I said, guys, it'll be interesting to see how Arsenal approach this because remember, guys, that Everton game on the final match day could be very, very big for both teams because Arsenal could make that push for top four, and Everton still could be in the relegation battle, needing to win to avoid relegation. So, it's going to be interesting, guys. And I just think that for me, the problem with Arsenal, guys, is I just don't think they have enough. I just don't think they have enough players to compete. And like I said, I just think that for me, Arsenal, I feel like they're just gonna drop off, guys. I just think that Arsenal, as much as I want them to get top four, guys, like personally speaking, I would rather see basically of all the teams, I would see United. I don't want United in the top four the most. It's not that I have anything against United. It's just I want to see a change. I want to see Arsenal. I would like to see Arsenal in the top four, Spurs in the top four, West Ham. Any of these three teams over United, And I just think for Arsenal in particular, it's important that they keep the perspective realistic because, like I said, it's gonna be very difficult, guys. This season, top four is gonna be very interesting, and it's gonna go down to the wire, guys. Like even though I do think United will get top four at the end of the day, it's not gonna be a guarantee. It's not gonna be easy, guys, because we know how tough the games are for all of these teams, and it's not a guarantee. So that's just my quick little segment on the top four, guys. I want you guys to comment down below what you guys think, because like I said, guys, I'm looking at United fixtures, guys. Barring the March schedule, they have a very favorable fixtures, I would say. Like their fixtures are not too bad. It's actually decent. Whereas Arsenal, Spurs, I think West Ham is really difficult for them, guys. And Arsenal, Spurs, man, one of these teams should make top four, just because, like I said, they only have the league games to concentrate on. And I just think that for me, Spurs are in a great position because of their games at hand. And the problem with Arsenal is that their games at hand are against teams that are too much quality, right? Now let's go discuss about the Premier League title race. The main segment of this video. Actually, hold up. We're not going to discuss with that. There's one other additional topic. Leeds United. Jesse Marsch. Jesse Marsch has been appointed as the manager, and can Leeds survive this season? Personally, I want Jesse Marsch to succeed. I want him to succeed. And for me in particular, it's imperative that Leeds do this. Because you look at Leeds' schedule, guys, they've been very bad, guys. Leeds are yet to win a game. The last time they won a game, guys, was against West Ham. They've been conceding so many goals. You guys can see how many goals. They conceded 3 to Villa. They conceded 3 to Everton. Conceded 4 to United. 6 to Liverpool. And 4 to Tottenham. They're just conceding too many goals. They're just conceding too many goals. And you can see how close they are to the relegation battle. They're only 2 points ahead. 2 points ahead. I said that right, guys. 2 points ahead. And look at the goal difference, guys. They actually have the worst defense. They even conceded more goals than Norwich. And if you conceded more goals than Norwich, that's a big problem. That's a big, big problem, guys. That's a huge problem. So let's go look at the remaining games for Leeds. Okay, that game against Leicester, very difficult indeed. I don't know if they can get anything from that game. Aston Villa could be difficult. That is an imperative game for Leeds. They better win that game. That's tough. These 2 games for Leeds must be wins. Yeah, man, it's gonna be difficult, guys. I mean, these are the 2 games that Leeds have to win. The rest of the other games, I don't know, man. And for Jesse Marsch in particular, let me just say this right now: if Jesse Marsch manages to get Leeds relegated, I think he's done. He's getting sacked. Like, let me just say this right now, guys: if Leeds United still go down this season, he is 100% sure getting sacked. You can mark my words, guys. And I think as well as the fact that his coaching career in the top 5 leagues is probably done. Because let's be real, guys. Jesse Marsch is probably lucky enough to get another opportunity in the top 5 leagues as a manager after how bad he was for Leipzig. And Leipzig was literally 13th place, if I'm not mistaken, when he left them. When he was sacked. And for me, the thing about Jesse Marsch is I saw at Leipzig was the defense was very poor. They would concede so many goals. And, Leeds also have that same issue too. Can he fix that and make them instill? Because I'm telling you this right now, guys. Leeds United they cannot drop any points. They need to almost win all their games right now. And it's a very, very imperative they do so, because I'm looking at the fixtures right now, guys. Newcastle is looking good, guys. I think Newcastle might actually survive this season just because of the players they brought in the window, And it's imperative that they get the job done because, like I said before, guys, they need to grab some wins here, and they got to grab some draws, They have to beat Norwich. They have to beat Watford. These 2 games are must-win games. No questions asked. The rest of the games, maybe they can get something against Brentford on the final match day. That could be very interesting, So we'll see what happens, man. Like I said, guys, it'll be interesting to see how Jesse March can do with this team. I'm hoping that he can do well with this team. I want Leeds to survive, guys, just for Jesse March in particular. But we'll see, man. It's gonna be a very tall task. It's gonna be a very tall task, man, and I just hope the best for him, man. All right, now let's talk about the English Premier League title race. The main part of the subject of the video, guys. The main reason I even decided to do this video, guys. Let's discuss. Let's look at Liverpool's fixtures first. So as you can see, actually, before we look at the fixtures, let me look at the table. So as you guys can see, the table is six. They're actually 6 points behind. Keep in mind, they do have a game in hand, which that is against Arsenal. It's at the Emirates. You would hope that they win that game. Okay, let's look at Liverpool's games. We're going to go ahead and I'm going to tell you guys which games could be tricky for Liverpool. We're only going to look at league games, by the way. West Ham is their next game in the league. That is it won't be straightforward. That's a difficult game. Liverpool wants to get revenge, but it is played at Anfield, and we know how Liverpool are strong at Anfield. They are very, very good at Anfield. So, then they have that game against Brighton, in which they were 2-0 up, make no mistake, and Brighton actually made the comeback. Wow. Then they have Arsenal at the Emirates. That's a good game. They should win that game. They mentioned that at home. That should be a win. Watford should be a win. Then comes the big game. This is the big one. Manchester City versus Liverpool. Aston Villa versus Liverpool. That's a game that you would hope Liverpool would win. Everton, that's got to be a win. Newcastle. Really, for me, guys, I think the most difficult games they have, there are 4 games I would say are difficult for Liverpool. West Ham, Brighton, City on the road, and Wolves at home. And even though that Wolves game, you can make an argument that they should win that game. Yes, they should. It is at home. We know how difficult it made. And I believe Liverpool scored a late winner against Wolves with Origi scoring that goal. So, that could be very tough indeed. But yeah, like I said, guys, Liverpool, man, can they win this league? In my personal opinion, I don't think so. And let me explain why. As good as Liverpool are, I just think that for me, City is a complete beast. Pep Guardiola loves the Premier League. He loves it too much. And I just think that for me, City is going to go in for it. City is also very consistent. They haven't even lost a game in a long time. I know they just lost to Spurs, but before the Spurs game, I think City haven't lost, I think since it was the game. When was the last time City lost prior to that Spurs game? I think the last time they lost was, when was the last time? I think Crystal Palace was the last team that beat them. Let me see if I can find that with you. Where is Crystal Palace? Where is Crystal Palace? Where is it? Where the heck is it, guys? Could have sworn Man City lost to Crystal Palace. There you go. I think this is the last game. Since then, they've garnered all wins. And I just think for Manchester City in particular, it's important that they keep this momentum up, because you could see how close the title race was this season. Because I'll be honest with you guys, when Liverpool lost away to Leicester City, I thought the league was over. And I just thought that for me, the City were going to win this league quite comfortably. But it shows how consistent Liverpool have been. And for City in particular, they have some very interesting games. They have the Manchester Derby game. That's a game that they should win. Then they have the Crystal Palace game. That's been one of City's bogey teams in recent years. In fact, they actually beat them in their first fixture, so at the Etihad. So this won't be straightforward. Then they have Brighton. That should be a win. Burnley. Then that Liverpool game, guys. That Liverpool game for me is going to be very, very tough for them. Very tough for them. And we'll see how that one pans out. That could be a crucial title-defining game. And that if City do manage to win that game, because let's just make for argument's sake, guys. Let's say Liverpool win their game in hand against Arsenal, because I think they should. That will make the gap 3 points. If City wins that game against Liverpool, I think the league is done. I think City will go on to win the league. But if City, let's just say for argument's sake, what if Liverpool wins that game? Then we have a really good title race at the end of the season. Now, if it ends in a draw, it pretty much keeps things the same. Because then following that game, they have a game against Wolves at the Molineux Stadium. We know Wolves is a team that can cause City some issues. And then from that point on, they have the West Ham game. Now, that West Ham game may not be as significant just because of where West Ham could be in the, we don't know how far West Ham will be in the Europa League or how far off they'll be from top 4. Let me just put it this way. If West Ham is still in the top 4 race and the Europa League, then I think they'll go for it. But if they're outside the top 4, they're eliminated from the Europa League, then this could be a routine win for Manchester City. So I'm looking at the game against Crystal Palace that I think could be issues. Perhaps the Manchester Derby, the game against Liverpool, and the game against Wolves. The rest of the other games, I think City should win. Maybe the West Ham game could be tricky. So we'll see what happens, man. We'll see what happens, And I just think that for me, man, it's going to be interesting, guys, because that win they had against Everton looked very ugly. Some would say they did not deserve to win that game. There was a penalty appeal. And, yeah, man, it's going to be interesting. So I want you guys to comment down below which team do you think is going to win the Premier League, guys. I still believe it's going to be Manchester City. I've said this before, guys. I just think for me, Manchester is just super consistent. And I just think that Liverpool, they're just going to drop points in this crucial period. I feel like Liverpool is just going to drop off. And the City is just going to be too good. Because here's the thing, right? City don't lose that many games. Look at how many losses they've had this season in the league. They've only had 3 losses. And I know Liverpool have had 2 losses, but look at the wins. They got 21 wins. 3 more wins than Liverpool. And that could be very decisive. Because we all know what happened in the 18-19 season. I believe City actually had... I believe Liverpool lost less games. But here's the thing that made the difference. City won more games. And that's going to be very interesting. Is that if Liverpool can manage to do this, it's going to be very difficult. It's going to be very difficult indeed. And this Premier League title race will be very interesting, guys. I hope this could be a good title race. And I'm really keen to see, because even though I do think City should win, I'm not very confident, man. I'm not very confident. I'm only like 70% confident, And we'll see what happens, man. City, it's going to be interesting, guys. Manchester City, can they do a back-to-back title race? Back-to-back Premier League titles. We'll see. Personally, you guys know I would rather see Liverpool win. I want to see some change. And I think Liverpool winning the Premier League would be nice. Give some change. And, I don't want to see the same thing all the time, right? So, that's it for today, guys. Hope you guys did enjoy this video, guys. A good Premier League review in depth. And by the way, let me go ahead and tell you guys something real special on the channel. So we have this thing called the tournament thing, which is basically we have 2 different editions. We have the Twitter edition and the YouTube edition. Now, keep in mind, if you're participating, and you can only participate in one of those. You cannot participate in both, okay? And basically what's going to happen is that you're going to basically be put into groups, and basically everyone will vote for who they like the most, or whoever they want. Basically, the person that wins the group would basically go on to the round of 16. They would face the runner-up of the next group, and then the group winner, group runner-up would actually face a group winner. And then if you get 3rd place, there will be a Europa League edition, which will do a 2nd tier, which I'm probably going to do the 2nd tier edition probably in when I reach maybe 1,000 subscribers on this YouTube platform, or maybe getting 500 followers on Twitter, something like that, and we'll do another edition, and yeah, that's pretty much about it. So like I said, guys, I'll be leaving links in the description below, so if you guys want to join, you guys are more than welcome to. I hope this clarifies some things. I know some people had some questions about it. Some people aren't sure what this is actually about, and I hope this clarifies everything. So, like I said, guys, each poll will be out for 24 hours. And remember, guys, do not have any alt accounts. Please I want to keep this fair, and so no one has an advantage. So that's pretty much it for today, guys. Hope you guys did enjoy the video, guys. Like I said, you guys will be interested to see which team will win the Premier League, guys. I still think it's going to be City, and I want you guys to comment down below which team you guys think will win the Premier League. So, hope you guys enjoyed the video, guys. Make sure you guys comment, subscribe. Check out my description below for my Twitter, Discord, email, and Twitch. And I'll see you guys later. Peace out.